blogosfere. Se avete già ascoltato il disco dei Korn, io ve lo dico, è un po' diverso rispetto al solito, quindi abbiamo l'occasione di poter parlare con Munky. So, hi, welcome with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so you are going to play in Alcatraz is not a big club, but it's a club. So what about the arenas? So do you miss the arenas, or you prefer small clubs for this kind of city that is slightly different?
I mean, this size club, everybody, told me earlier today, you're playing in Alcatraz, it's kind of a small place. And I was like, wow, I kept wondering about it. And then when I walked into it, I was like, this place is huge.
Yeah, probably.
I think it's somewhere between an arena and a club.
Yeah, yes.
So
yes,
I think it's good because of the lights and the sound that we brought. We want to sort of knock your head off, sort of with the power of, kind of walk out and not know what hit you.
So how was the approach in writing this kind of record, this electronic and dubstep? So it's very different respect to the previous album, of course, and of your. It can be maybe your fan can be a little bit stunned about it.
Yeah, I can
Surprised.
I can see why. I mean, one of the things about rock and roll or metal is that you do whatever the fuck you want, and that's what we did. We did what the fuck we wanted, and we followed our creative path, which has led us down this road where we're including dubstep, which Jonathan's hugely influenced by right now. And my whole approach was sort of looking back through the history of bands that, like, Pink Floyd, that, they pissed off a lot of their fans, I think, when they started introducing synthesizers and even a few bands that introduced horns into their sound, 30 years ago. It pissed off a lot of fans, but it's that change that you have to really be willing to, kind of accept, or be willing to hear new ideas, and be willing to change, and that's where you see real growth, and that's where we've seen growth in our fans and in our, who we are as people, and creatively too.
And what about you? So are you into the dubstep scene that is coming out?
I wouldn't say I'm into it. I'm not at raves.
Okay.
I'm not hanging out with every DJ in town. I like to hear new ideas, and I like to see what these guys are doing, and I like that we've included some of the ways that they record their sounds and stuff, and that we learned a lot from doing the album, and we'll always use some of those recording techniques. We may not always use the exact sounds that we recorded on this album, but some of the recording techniques that we learned along this experience we'll take with us.
So technically, how is the writing process? So for example, the guitars or...
Right, well, for example, the first song we wrote with Skrillex was Get Up, and that was sort of an experiment that we basically, Jonathan played me the CD, Scary Monsters, and I liked it, and we called him up and asked him to come write with us, and he brought his computer, and we, he played us some stuff, some ideas, we put it in the computer, and basically I started jamming to it, and writing melodies and rhythms and different riffs around everything that the producers were bringing, and that's how it sort of grew from there. It was just like ideas and jamming to it, and then Jonathan would come back in after a couple hours of me jamming to it, and me and the producer, or me and the engineer, would arrange the songs to what we thought maybe Jonathan would like this, and then he would come in and say, I'd like to sing a chorus here, maybe we could do a verse with this section that you created. So we'd come up with 7 or 8 ideas over one idea that, say, Skrillex or 12th Planet or the Feed Me guys sent. Some of the producers we worked directly with in the studio, and some of them, you know, they were too far away. Guys from Noisia are from the Netherlands, and the guy from Feed Me is in the UK. So it sort of became a you know, a cool global sort of collaboration of people that we didn't really know was going to turn into something like that.
So the people that collaborate with you, that worked in the same studio you worked on in the album, or it was something that you made on the net? Or
well, most of them. But like I said, the guy from Feed Me was, you know, in the UK, and Noisia were in the Netherlands. So they sent us through the internet ideas, and we sent them back, and it was sort of back and forth with those two guys. Everybody else we pretty much worked directly with in the studio.
It was better, or
I think it's better because then you can kind of see the reaction. You know, if someone's doing this in front of the speakers, you know it's probably fucking shitty. But you know, you want somebody to, like, you know, feel excited, and then you want that direct connection. You know, so there's definitely those the ups of having somebody, you know. But then when they send it in and you're doing something that they may not like, then they can't say nothing. So it's good and bad.
So, it seems that everybody is searching for Skrillex in this period. So he's becoming very famous.
He's becoming very famous, and you know, he's very young, and he's going to have a really long career. You know, I see him. Not that you'd ask, but I see him, like, you know, having, you know, scoring movies, and, you know, and doing big blockbuster movies, and, you know, his career it's just started. So, and he's a smart guy. He's gonna evolve, and I think really the dubstep thing is just a stepping stone for him to touch onto and do something else. He's really good at whatever he does. He's very talented.
So, and, I listened to all the songs, and it seems that Skrillex songs are more full of stuff that respect the other producer you work with. So there is maybe too much sound inside it, or?
Yeah, I mean, each producer brings something different each song, and that sort of really comes down to the mix. You know, is there enough guitars? Is there enough vocals? Are we hearing, you know, and
It's really a personal opinion.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you're right, because, you know, you're not wrong. It becomes, you know, there's moments in the album where I wanted my guitar louder, but you would have not heard the synth or the wobbly bass that really makes us trying to make a musical difference by including those elements in the songs. But it's just it becomes personal taste in the mix and making everybody happy. But when you see the songs live, you can definitely hear my guitars.
Okay.
And I like that.
I hope to.
Because it makes it a lot heavier, you know. The songs live, I think, are definitely the right way.
So does it work good live? This kind of new approach.
It works great. It works great live.
So you're satisfied of the live experience?
I'm really satisfied. I was worried about it at first because, you know, I didn't know how the songs were going to translate. You never really, you know, you can kind of vision when you're in the studio how a new song, the crowd will react, but you never really know until you get in front of them and you play. Because you think a song is going to be great, and then you play it live, and then that song never ends up on the set list again. There's a few songs that are like that, and through the years, but these all have translated very well. So
it's very good. It's a very good thing. So what about the live of the Tonight live? So they told me that it's divided in some moments.
Right.
It's very different. Can you explain that?
Yeah. Well, you know, we wanted to do some old songs off of our first two albums. That maybe some newer fans have no idea about, you know, our older records. So we wanted to do that, and also for our hardcore Korn fans, you know. songs we haven't played in a long time. And then we kind of go into another segment of the new record. And we do about 5 songs from our new record, and then we kind of do an all-out, like, I guess, hits, I don't know, well-known songs, I guess. The last, like, 6 or 7 songs, maybe 8 songs or something, that are, like, well-known songs that people can remember their favorites.
So, maybe it's very early to think about the future, but do you think that in the future, are you more interested in this kind of word, in new ways of making music, maybe that can come to you in the future?
Well, I think at some level we're gonna keep some level of electronic in the sound. I think going back, to Korn 3, Remember Who You Are album, which was just very raw, us in the room, we recorded with Ross. I think that sort of gave us the confidence to, like, sort of exercise that creative muscle, and then now go on and continue with experimenting and exploring, and not putting any boundaries or restrictions on what we do and who we're supposed to be. And is it metal? You know what? It is metal because we do whatever the fuck we want.
So do you think that there is the way of thinking that to do the what do you want to do? Is the metal way of thinking to do
whatever you want to do, and if hopefully people like it. If they don't, then they can buy another record.
Yeah, because it seems, of course, when the new metal came out, the metal crowd seems very
divided, right?
Very divided,
Yeah.
Respect the rock, maybe, or the rock audience, maybe.
I think, but that's fine. I mean, there's enough room for everybody to enjoy what they want. No one's saying you have to like it, I think also, there's some fans that might hate the new album that like our old records, or may not like all of our records. It doesn't discredit, to me, it doesn't discredit because, each record is its own entity. It's its own, we're on a journey, and we're just kind of adding chapters to a book that just is an open-ended book at this point, and we're just kind of on this sort of ride, and we're gonna keep going until the book has an end, I guess.
Yeah, I'm agree with you. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much.